Shalom, shalom. Whew, man, Lord willing, this is edifying, man. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem Akakwadash, and double honors to the elder apostles and the elders of Great Millstone who rule well and teach well through the Spirit. Lord willing, that they can continue to endure and be sincere. Almighty Shalom to the hopeful elect in the same spirit, teaching this word and believing this word, Lord willing, that they can continue to endure and be sincere. Shalom to the Akwakim, that are believers in his faith and his truth. Lord willing, that you can continue to pursue your lot, which is being a loving and silent and virtuous wife. And Lord willing, the Most have mercy on the other brothers and sisters that's not in the faith. Just flowing through the spirit, right before camp. Waiting on the brothers. Usually I'm behind. Usually I even be late, but all praise to Yahweh Ba'ashem Shai. He allows us, to still have that endurance or that drive to, want to teach this word, but not only for our sake and our family, but, for the elect's sake, right? But like you see in the title, where it says, it's a time for everything. We're not in a time of partying, right? Of course, you might feel like it is, but it is not a time of partying. Right now is a time of death, right? A time of mourning, right? But it's a time of waking up, a time of spiritual abundance, right? Really gaining and growing in wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. So this is Ecclesiastes chapter 3, going straight to the point, verse 1. It says, to everything there is a season and a time, to every purpose under the heaven, right? Now, I was going to read all the way down, but I want to actually get to a point. I'm going to start at verse 6, so I'm going to read verse 1 again. It says, to everything there is a season and a time, to every purpose under heaven, right? So it's a time, right? It's a purpose for every season under the heavens, right? Verse 6, it says, a time to get, a time to lose, a time to keep, a time to cast away, a time to read, a time to sow, a time to keep silence, and a time to speak, right? We're in a time of sowing, but that's about sowing a seed. We're in a time of speaking where the number one thing being pushed right now is the ministry. Even regardless if you don't see it or if you do, the number one thing getting pushed, the number one thing getting spoke about is Hebrew Israelites. But I'm nobody. We're nobody. We're filthy rags. It's really about Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai being pushed, right? Verse 8, it says, a time to love and a time to hate, a time of war and a time of peace, right? We're getting closer to that time of war, right? And you have different type of wars. Of course, you might have race war, but you have spiritual war, right? Where all these other doctrines is bumping up against this, right? Race war, power war, well, with the ones of power and the ones of the lower class, right? Political war. We got multiple different wars, but eventually we're going to get into that critical war, nuke war, right? And we're ushering in a time of peace under Hamashiach Yahushai. We're not in no type of peace at all. I don't want peace on this side. I want terror on this side, because our true peace, our true redemption is when Hamashiach Yahushai arrived, right? Yes, I am reading the Bible, right? So it's a time to love, a time to hate, a time of war, and a time of peace. Now, let me see if I can get this precept right here. Let's see if this is the one I want. Right, because it said it's a time of love and a time of hate. This is Luke chapter 14 and verse 26. It says, if any man, if any man come to me and hate not his father and his mother and wife and children and brethren and sisters, yea, in his own life also he cannot be my disciple. And whosoever doeth not bear his cross and come after me cannot be my disciple, right? When it says If you don't hate your father, your mother, even your children or your wife, you can't be my disciple. This love is talking about to love less, right? So you have to really hate your family, your children, your wife or your wives on this side, right? Because it's really putting Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai first, right? Because if you're not carrying your cross, you're not fit to be a disciple of the Lord, right? What do I think? It's not what I think. Russia will drop actual bombs on Babylon, aka America, right? It's in the scriptures, right? Actually, I'll read this verse for you real quick. Hey, we're in a time of hate, right? You should be loving. You should be dedicating your time to Yahweh. This knowledge is the number one thing being pushed in the earth, right? This is Isaiah 54:16, right? Isaiah 54:16. It says, "And behold, I have created the smith that bloweth the coals in the fire." So the Lord is saying that He makes this. He's making the smith, like the man that molds knives or molds weapon or molds anything with steel and metal, right? And that's Teman. That's the wise nation of Esau, right? Which in today would be the Germans, right? It says, "In that bring forth an instrument for his work, and I have created the waster to destroy," right? So the Lord put a spirit in them to create the waster. What is the waster? The ICBM missile. Those missiles, those nukes that can destroy cities, countries, So with the brother saying, what do you think? That the Russians will laugh a nuclear tactical strike, right? Hell yeah, they're going to drop a tactical strike, because Ezekiel 38:10 says, they're going to have an evil thought in their mind, right? We'll get that one too. Now, you might not see it say missiles, right? But you have to understand they're speaking in their time, and they couldn't really understand what it was, because that was for our time. So when you see what the destroyer is, no human in ancient world had a destroyer that was going to desolate a country. Because when we go in scriptures, it say Babylon would be desolate. In ancient world, it was nothing that was created outside of the angels making the fire and brimstone out of elements and destroying Sodom and Gomorrah. There was no other element that can desolate a whole country, right? So let's just get this Ezekiel 38. Again, it's a time to speak. It's a time of war. It's a time of love, and it's a time of hate. This is Ezekiel 38, verse 10, and this is going into God. It says, "Thus saith Yahweh Shemashai power, it shall also come to pass that at the same time shall things come into thy mind, and thou shalt think an evil thought." And this is going to be Russia having an evil thought, God, and they're going to push that button, let alone the other nations or the allies of the United States. They're going to be angry with the whore, Revelations, the 17th chapter, right? And they're going to be aid in dropping bombs in this place, right? It's going to be destroyed in 60 minutes. I can't save nobody. I can't force nobody to believe in His truth. I can't save nobody from that destruction, right? Of course, I can protect my family and the ones that's around me, whoever the Lord brings around me. But at the end of the day, none of us is going to be able to stop those nukes. I can't deliver nobody. You can't deliver nobody. It's all about what the scriptures say, what the Lord have told us through the scriptures, who's going to redeem us, who's going to save us, right? So we got to have faith in the Lord's word, right? Because this is our stability, right? Let's get Isaiah 33:6. It says, "And wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy time, in strength of salvation. The fear of Yahweh is His treasure," right? The wisdom is going to be the stability of thy time. We're in a time where wisdom is the main thing. Like, a lot of us is dependent on money, and I'm watching mad videos where people are making damn near more than me, and they still feel like they can't make ends meet. Some people living in houses that pays $1,000, $1,200, $400, and what they get in the week, you know, it's not enough because they got to pay their bills. We just getting money to survive or to get by. We're not living just to live, you know. So we're in a time to speak where the men of the Lord are crying, using their trumpet on the highways and byways to edify and feed the sheep, right? Because it is sheep out there that is tired, right? They're in the spirit of what the apostles say in Acts, the 1st chapter, verse 6, when they ask Hamashiach, are you going to restore the kingdom of Israel, right? And this is what we want. You know, your mindset should be on the kingdom, right? Your mindset shouldn't be, oh, I want to be in a time of partying. We're not in a time of partying. You should be having your mind on the time of the end, right? Let's get that in 2nd Esdras, the 9th chapter. 2nd Esdras chapter 9, verse 1, it says, he answered me then and said, measure thou the time diligently in itself, and when thou seest part of the signs past, which I have told thee before, right? We have to measure out the time. Like if you at work, depending if you do construction, welding, you know, you got to measure your piece on what you're going to use, right? And we have to measure the time that we're in, right? Regardless if it's prophecies, right? When this kingdom is going to fall, you have to measure those times out, right? Verse 2, it says, then shalt thou understand that it is the very same time wherein the highest will begin to visit the world which he made, right? The Lord is visiting this place, right? Isaiah 29:6, Isaiah 41:18. The Lord been visiting this earth, right? Let alone with the angels. The angels is watching, right? The angels is watching the men of the Lord, seeing how we're basically rooting that you overcome, right? Let me see if I got it. Yep. This is 1 Peter's chapter 1, verse 10 to 12 in the GNT. It says, it was concerning the salvation that prophets made careful search and investigation, and they prophesied about this gift which God would give you. They tried to find out when the time would be and how it would come. This was the time to which Hamashiach's spirit in them was pointing and predicting the suffering that Hamashiach would have to endure and the glory that would follow. God revealed to these prophets that their work was not for their own benefit, right? What we do, especially brothers on the highways and byways and doing these sit-downs, this is not for our own, right? This is not for our own benefit. We do it for the other believers, right? We're doing it for the elect, right? It says, but for yours, as they speak about those things which you have now heard from the messengers who announced the good news by the power of the Ruach HaKodesh sent from heaven. These are things which even the angels would like to understand, right? The angels want to understand, how are we, the things that we deal with, the things we get hit with, how are we dealing with them? How are we overcoming them? They want to know, you know? And that's amazing, where we down here in this flesh suffering in different ways, this little affliction, and you got the heavenly angels wondering how are we dealing with it, you know? And guess what? It's gonna get worse here, and it's gonna get worse here, and even more, we're gonna count on those angels covering us, man, right? What is it? Job 1:9, you know, counting on the Lord to put that wall of protection, that hedge around us. You understand? So again, it's always a time for everything. We are not in a time of partying. Passover is next month for me and my brothers, and the brothers from Great Millstone. I believe Sakari too. Next month is Passover. You're supposed to be in a Passover spirit, right? Hamashiach Yahawashi was crucified, gave up his life for his children. And who's going to reap the benefit on this side? The elect. The elect. So this is a time to speak, right? Speak as in Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai. Let the Lord name be known. Manifest his name, right? Testify his name, which is bring forth evidence, right? And we bring forth evidence through the scriptures, right? Let's bring out what Isaiah said in Isaiah 53. I'm gonna have to go because we about to start camp. This Isaiah 53 verse 1. Who have believed our report, and to whom is the arm of Yahweh revealed? That arm is Hamashiach Yahweh Shai. Who's going to believe our report that we're bringing in today, right? And guess what? Just because if somebody don't hear, if they do hear, we got to constantly keep knocking at the door, right? Really, the door that I'm talking about is the door in your mind, your ubnabla, made up a word, talking about your mind. Every lesson is talking to your mind, talking to your heart. Every lesson, every camp, talking to your mind, right? The Lord said he's gonna basically come to the door, knock at the door, and he's gonna come and sup with you. We in the time right now where Yahweh Shai, Mashiach Yahweh Shai, is supping with the children. How is he supping with us? Right? Not with food, but with the word of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai. Here I come. I had to do a lesson real quick. Yeah, sorry, the head brother, he had camp. So I love y'all. Again, remember, it's always a season, you know, and every time is always a season. So Lord willing, this is edifying, you know, to the sheep, in that you're preparing yourself for war. You're preparing yourself for mourning, because Jacob trouble is going to bring mourning, let alone the MOTB. But not only just mourning, your peace is going to come. You have to have your mind, your peace is going to come. Peace is not when you have a good day. It might feel like it, but peace is when Hamashiach Yahweh Shai delivers you, right? So all praises to Yahweh, Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai, Ba'Shem Rakakwadash, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai. And with that, I'm going to say shalom, double honors to the elder apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, who rule well and teach well. And a mighty shalom to the hopeful elect in the same spirit, teaching his word and believing his word. Lord willing, you can continue to endure and be sincere. And shalom to the Akwatiyom that are believers in his faith and his truth. Lord willing, you can continue to pursue your lot, which is being a loving and silent, virtuous wife. With that, shalom.